QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022 OneNote presentation. Customer jobs. Let's get into it with Intuit's QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022. If you have access to OneNote, would like to follow along, we're in the icon left-hand side, Topic Introduction 7260 Customer Jobs tab. Also take a look at the Immersive Reader Tool Topic Introductions in the text area too. Same name, same number, but with transcripts. Transcripts that can be translated into multiple languages, either listened to or read in them. Same name and number as presentations as well. Topic Introductions designed to give an introduction to the topic, provide screenshots, links where applicable, give accounting background to complement the presentations, and can be used to follow along with them if you don't have access to the software at that time. Closing the icon on the left-hand side, we're starting out with the screenshot of the home page. We're going to be going into the Customer Center, which you could go to here or with the Customer drop-down. Here is the Customer Center, our customer lined up on the left-hand side. We're going to be adding a job often used when you're in a longer project type of scenario. Oftentimes in a construction type of situation, we're going to be working on different jobs, typically jobs that are going to be different in nature, and you're going to have to possibly track the information separately per job, even though you're going to be billing it, say, to a particular customer. And that also could be used in a bookkeeping firm or a law firm where you basically have projects, even though you don't have possibly things that you are building, in that case inventory involved, but instead you have a service type of situation and possibly you're doing different jobs for a particular customer in that instance as well. So what we would typically do is put our cursor on the customer where we want to be adding a job, hit the drop down up top, and then say add job. And so when we add the job, I'm just going to add the number for the job because it's going to be subordinate to the customer. I'm going to leave everything else in essence as is here. If we go down to the job info, we have the job status tab. Now I'm not going to get into too much detail in a job cost system here. We have another course on a job cost system in and of itself because it's kind of a specialized area in and of itself and could be more or less detailed depending on your particular circumstances. If you have a service type of situation, usually not quite as difficult than, of course, if you have something where you're constructing some kind of inventory type of situation. But in any case, you can have the job statuses here: pending, awarded, in progress, closed, and not awarded. So scrolling down, we've got then the job is now going to be a subcategory to the Jones guitars. So now we could be charging things to a particular job, and those things will still be billed, that whole job be billed to, in essence, the Jones guitars. So if we were to invoice, for example, we can invoice that job 3005. Notice it gives Jones Guitars and then kind of the subcategory of the job 3005 when we do so. And then if we go down to the checking account, we got then the Jones Guitars on the right-hand side is another place where we could basically charge if I was charging something or adding something to a job. As we have an expense, we can add it to the job of 3005. And then bill it out to the expense. Although this is a little bit not ideal sometimes because it might then record it as a contra expense account, like a reimbursement. So you might want to use items in order to do that. And so I won't get into that in more detail now, but just be aware of that. We talk a little bit more about that in future presentations here. But then we have the customer number of 4002, another job, I should say a job number, another job we're setting up, this time for Sam the Guitar Man. So there's 4002 for that particular job, for that related to that particular customer, which we might assign some transactions to in the future to show you how we might bill or assign to a particular job costs and possibly invoice to a particular job. You could imagine things that you would accumulate upwards for expenses and whatnot that are applied to the job, and possibly time that you're tracking, especially in like a service situation like a law firm, CPA firm, that you could then charge to a particular job.